Alright, BIP Bizarre Interest Productions here, and we're here to talk about Donald Trump's Pokemon team. Now, Trump is one of the most divisive presidents and figures in celebrity history, but what's more interesting to me is what exactly would be his Pokemon team. Originally, back in May when I came up with this concept, I didn't see anyone talk about this, but after seeing like one or two people actually start making their own list recently, I figured, hey, what better time than now to make the video. So we're going to talk about the 6 Pokemon I think that would best be fit for Donald Trump's Pokemon team. The first Pokemon I would add to Trump's team would actually be Machamp. Surprisingly, even though most of this started from the fact that his ridges kind of look like Donald Trump's hairstyle, Trump actually has a lot of ties to wrestling that has been part of his character for a long while before he even entered politics, which I feel like would be a very wasted opportunity to not include. Besides, I know there's an argument to be had about Machamp's fair, strong, and ability to actually perform physically, being a direct contrast to Donald Trump's personality. But I kind of see that as something interesting, because even in the anime, Ash had a lot of Pokemon that were direct parallels, opposites, or just had completely different personalities in him, and he was still able to work with him. Plus, it would fit Trump's ego and desire for a challenge, given that he tried to run for president twice, succeeded one time, and then failed the other time. Well, minus the other time when Obama became president. But the point is, Machamp actually makes a lot of sense to be Donald Trump's Pokemon, so he's the first on my list. Now, my second choice is going to be a Pokemon that I know people are going to think of the original version, but I'm actually going to go with the alternate variant, Berserker. Now, this is pretty obvious because Berserker knows payday and levels up the more money that they have. And what does Donald Trump love most of all? Money. I know that there's an argument to be had about Goldengo because that also involves collecting a high amount of money, but Goldengo feels more like a Pokemon that works with a trainer that's very chill, relaxed, and while personality doesn't always matter, I feel like Berserker's more intense desire and vicious claws actually would fit Donald Trump's personality, especially since on The Apprentice he was pretty cut and dry about what he wanted in his apprentices. So I think Berserker would actually be a really good pick, and that's why he's my second choice for Donald Trump's Pokemon team. Okay, for our third, remember, the person/Pokemon that's obvious that everyone said should be is Gumshoes. Yes, I know it's because he looks like Donald Trump, but there's actually a bit more to it. Gumshoes is known for being a predator towards unsuspecting prey, like Trump is with women. Also, Gumshoes was brought in Alola to deal with what was seen as problems. Alola's based off Hawaii, and who does Trump hate the most that's also from Hawaii? Obama! Yeah, and that's why he will be my third choice for Donald Trump's team. Now, my fourth Pokemon might lose some of you guys, but I actually think this makes a fair amount of sense. We're going with Thievul. Yeah, Thievul's are known to rock targets and steal from the targets that they stalk, and while Trump's also known for stalking and harassing certain women, he's also well known for his fraud and business deals that screw over everyone else. If the man wants something, he will do whatever it takes to get what he wants, even if it involves screwing or stealing from someone else. And hey, what Pokemon is perfect for that? Thievul! Now, I could justify this fourth Pokemon. This fifth Pokemon works because it's something that would unironically give Donald Trump a lot of character development, and that's Furfuru. Yeah, I picked Furfuru because certain dogs are associated with wealth and social status, and his daughter-in-law actually encouraged him to own a dog. Yes, it is ironic in that he actually hates dogs and cats, but the guy who talked about his privates on national TV will do anything to prove he's not weak and rise to the challenge. Plus, this would be a great opportunity to actually give Trump some character development if he was the protagonist of his own Pokemon adventure. Because him and Furfuru have the same idealism when it comes to pride, wealth, status, and fame. So in a situation where both of them are injured, Trump actually letting those features go to help focus on protecting and caring for his Pokemon, and Furfuru slowly coming to understand that and growing our appreciation for his trainer would actually make a pretty compelling arc, given that Trump can be pretty vulnerable when he's around people that he actually cares about, or supposedly cares about, depending on who you ask. Plus, you can make the argument that Trump can be all bark and no bite, and having a dog Pokemon would actually allow him to have both. So yeah, Furfrou is my 5th Pokemon choice. And for my last choice, this one would be a little bit obvious, but also a little bit unexpected. We're going with, obviously, Snorlax. Yeah, it's not because he's fat, I'm fat too. Snorlax is known for sleeping. Trump's also known for sleeping with someone other than his wife. Both have a large appetite. Snorlax sleeps a lot while Trump is so tired he slept through parts of some of his own trials, like I fell asleep the day I started writing this. And say what you want about Trump, and this could also be framed as a good or a bad thing, but he does have a lot of power in being able to influence and sway people, and Snorlax is a powerful force on the battlefield. Having someone like Trump commanding someone like Snorlax could actually stop Snorlax from falling asleep all the time to only follow Trump's commands, and then go to sleep after he's finished his battles. Or they could eat for a victory celebration, but forget how to cook. Plus, in the Journeys anime, Pokemon had the Pokemon Grand Eating Contest, which Japan only called the Grand Eating Contest. And all contestants have to enter the competition with their Pokemon and has to eat as many plates of food as possible. Which is actually pretty interesting because with every round, the rules are consistent. A new plate is only served once the previous one has been finished clean. Berry seeds can be left uneaten, spices can be added to the food, and competitors will be disqualified from the competition if they become too full to continue eating or break the dish plates. And what the funny thing is, Go won, Ash came in the top 16, and James was the runner-up. But I could honestly see Trump and Snorlax actually competing in this. Trump struggling, and Snorlax just trying to motivate him to keep eating until they actually win the grand prize to Unova. I just think that would be one of the most funniest scenarios ever. And it would honestly be a really good reason to have Snorlax on the team. Now, this wasn't in the original outline and script of this video, but I kind of figured that in most Pokemon games and in the anime, you either end up catching or end up having to work with a legendary to stop the bad guys. Or in the anime's case, Ash will most likely either end up supporting some legendary Pokemon, mythical Pokemon, and Ultra Beasts, and then helping them out or capturing them in the case of Alola. And while I'm not entirely sure Donald Trump could do this in reality, in a fictional world where we're assuming he gets character development and actually grows to become a better or / decent person, or if you think he's great, a much better person than he already is, but him actually being able to catch and work with an Ultra Beast would be interesting to watch. And originally, I didn't want to include this one because it would be pretty ironic for the Pokemon based around stone walls being given life and becoming an Ultra Beast, and Donald Trump not actually being able to build a wall, a fence at best, which is kind of funny because if we had a Pokemon that was entirely based off chains, that would be a good fit. But I was thinking of a scenario where Donald Trump would try to catch the Sataka, fail, and then actively have to build a defensive fortress on his own or with the help of his other Pokemon against like a bunch of poachers or an invasive army. And then after struggling, he takes a hit and sacrifices himself. But just as he's about to get killed by a bunch of rogue Pokemon, Sataka appears, arrives to help him out, and then ultimately decides to become his 7th and legendary partner. Which sounds really unrealistic, but in a fictional world where your development can change and alter based on the fanaticism around you, that would actually be also an interesting sight to see. So that's my Pokemon team for Donald Trump. Machamp, Berserker, Gumshoes, Deevil, Furfrou, and Snorlax. I know technically this isn't a competitive team, but at least in the anime, I could see this group doing a lot of damage for a trainer like Donald Trump, who I'm not even sure knows what Pokemon is. But yeah, I mean, he has Machamp for a strong offense, Berserker as a decent all-arounder, Gumshoes for being entirely offense with some speed, Deevil for being tricky, fast, and being able to help him in battle, Furfrou for being an all-rounder, and Snorlax to be his probably ace that would help him in a lot of tough fights and situations. Now, do I see this actually happening if Donald Trump went to a real Pokemon world? No. He would most likely end up like that land shark that's always trying to take Kiawe's land and failing miserably every single time. And while I don't necessarily like the guy, this is a fun experiment to think about what type of real people and what Pokemon would fit the best for them. So that's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think my choices make sense? Were they a little out there? Did you have better choices? Let me know, like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you all have an amazing day.